Hi, everyone. My name is Dustin Miles. I'm with Momentum Multifamily and super excited to have Chelsea here today. Had the pleasure of knowing Chelsea for a handful of years. And so super excited to have
Mhm.
her today. And, really think she brings, different level of experience than kind of what you see out there. She kind of works a few different angles. So, Chelsea, if you want to introduce yourself and love to kind of learn more about you.
Thanks for having me, Dustin. I've enjoyed being a part of your journey, and you're definitely somebody I look up to in the multifamily space. My name's Chelsea Garber. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of Ascend Equity and ROI by Design. I take a design and aesthetic driven approach to repositioning multifamily properties. So, whether it's within my own portfolio or helping other owners and operators, I believe that when people thrive at home, they thrive in other areas of their lives. So, at ROI by Design, we've remodeled over 200 projects nationwide since 2020, ranging from C class to new development, from 2 million to 60 plus million. And it's been an honor to be a part of so many other people's stories and success and journey, and just ensuring that you're getting the highest possible return on your investment. I'm also really passionate about building wealth, particularly for other busy, successful women. So I'm the founder of ConnectHER, which is a women's financial empowerment group located here in Park City, Utah. So I love real estate, design, and making money and helping others
There
along
you
the way.
go. Yeah, it's good combo. So, well, cool. And how long have you been investing in multifamily?
Since 2020 is when I embarked on the
Okay, cool.
journey via way of a couple single family house flips. Prior to that, my
Yeah.
professional backgrounds in design have and do own multiple design firms, residential and commercial, and have just a heavy background in construction, design, architecture, new development, remodeling. So I love all things design.
Awesome. And so you're in Park City, beautiful area. So where do you invest and kind of what cities have you invested in?
So I have been living in Park City since June of 2020, but born and raised in New York. My portfolio of properties that I personally own are mostly in Oklahoma. I do have a A-class development in Columbus, Ohio, and under contract for a deal in Kansas City at the moment. So venturing into a new market, which is exciting, but mostly been focusing in Tulsa and Oklahoma City.
Oh, cool. Okay. And so kind of, these projects, big projects, lots of people wearing different hats and all that. So, what has kind of been your role so far on the GP side, and then what role do you like to play?
I actually, like most people in this business, you start out wearing many hats.
Hmm.
Where the areas that I really excelled and have enjoyed the most are definitely broker relations, acquisitions, construction, management. Uh, I love to work closely with property management. I'm not really a numbers person. I wouldn't say underwriting's my strength. Looking at financials, of course we do it, but not where I get joy out of. So I believe this is definitely a relationship based business. It's not transactional, and I love putting together really strong teams of people. And I've been fortunate to do so in the markets that I'm investing in by going and spending time and investing in people and their businesses. And I think when you do good by others, they do good by you. And I've just been really lucky to get to work with some incredible people. Obviously, have had partners, on the acquisition side, and it's been a journey. I wouldn't say it's been smooth. It's definitely been bumpy, like most, but you live and you learn and you continue to get better.
Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate people like you because I'm more on the numbers side, and I'm not the guy to pick out colors. I mean, I'm going to pick out clothes. I have to go buy what's on the mannequin. So, definitely appreciate people like you. So, um, curious if there's anything that we on our end we try to do meetups and Zoom, different webinars and things just to really educate folks. We had actually we had a meetup last night over in Dallas, but is there anything that you kind of do to set yourself apart, from others? So yeah, just kind of curious what kind of an angle or what you do to set yourself apart.
Yeah, the last about 9 months, I've really taken a shift. I felt that I've learned so much by being in the multifamily space, not just about commercial real estate, but other avenues of building wealth, whether it's leveraging retirement funds, life insurance policies, and with all of this, I think knowledge comes power. And I felt a deep calling to tell others about what I've been working on, and more specifically, women. And so I founded ConnectHER, which is a local group here in Park City that I mentioned earlier. And it's all about leading other women into financial empowerment. And the women that have joined the group, we've built just this incredible community, tribe, whatever you want to call it, who, we all have been very successful in our careers. We typically have, most of us have had financial advisors, but we're afraid to ask questions. And I think being a woman in general, there's kind of taboo to talk about money. And so I'm coming to the
Mm,
space and saying, hey, we have a seat at the table, we have finances, and how are we ensuring that we're getting the best possible return on these finances? So I'm really in a stage of education, and
mm,
it's part of my mission. It brings me so much joy. And these women are now investing in deals. They're working with other financial coaches, and they are setting themselves up for financial freedom. And I believe that when you invest in real estate, most people in the space are on that path. So it's just providing opportunities and knowledge to others that, hey, these opportunities do exist. They're for people like you and I. Maybe you don't have 50 or $100,000 cash, but hey, do you have retirement funds? Let's leverage those.
mm.
So it's been a really incredible last 9 months or so building this, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for our group.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I know. I mean, I started in multifamily a while back, but I didn't, I didn't know anyone that, I didn't know normal people could invest in apartment buildings. I thought it was these
Mhm,
huge corporations. And, I just kind of chalked it up to, I, probably wouldn't,
mhm.
be able to be involved in those. So that's really cool. So, curious, what you were, look for in a deal, whether you're doing the deal or maybe partnering with
Mhm,
some other folks. Just kind of curious
mhm.
what your deal box looks like.
So I own both C class and A class assets. I have actually moved more into the B class space at the moment. I think most people graduate from C class. C class can be very difficult, but oftentimes
Mhm.
the most value can be created there. And I've really enjoyed the remodeling component for obvious
Mm.
reasons, because of
Yep.
partnering with my design firm, just really getting to change the community, not just the look and the feel, but the safety of for the residents, and just the value that it brings to the submarket. So I, of course, I'm super passionate about that and really enjoy that. Um, I will say the A class communities are easier to own and manage. The returns are generally a bit lower risk, lower reward in some cases, not always. So it's each property is so unique and tells a different story, and to be part of the transformation is so exciting. And I really do love working with people. I love our on-site staff. I consider
Mm.
our property management, they're like family members to us. And these are the people that are in charge of your communities and are face to face with the residents every day. So it's really important that you just you treat everybody well. I don't see myself, there's no hierarchy. We're all part of the same team working towards the same goal. And really just ensuring, I've learned, whether it's in my businesses or my properties, is sharing a vision. When you have a vision and everybody's on board and excited about it, they are usually working hard to contribute to that, and get we all want to get to the same place.
Yep. Yep. Excuse me. That's awesome. Yeah, love that for sure. It's crazy just to see, you know, the manager, for instance. I mean, she's, they're paid, paid well, but it's crazy that they're in charge of this 10, 20, $50 million
Mhm,
asset. And so yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's, it's really, yeah, all about your team, all about your people, and just really, making sure that people are not only treating well, but also set up for success as well. So
mhm.
um, it sounds like you've really cultivated a pretty cool group of professionals and all that. I'm sure you've gotten some interesting questions from the potential LPs or limited partners or passive investors. I know I have, and so kind of curious what those. Because one question I remember this guy, or actually multiple people asked before, they're like, "What should we be asking you?" And so I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you the same thing. What should an LP be asking you about whatever deal you have going on?
Yeah, that's funny. I've been asked that question a lot recently, and I think
Okay.
that comes from educating new investors.
Hmm.
I work with both accredited investors and accredited first-time investors, or even non-accredited, and it's they always say that you have to not only just know, like, and trust the operator or the sponsor, but you really have to do your due diligence on the deal. And you know, I
Hmm.
believe that it's asking those tough questions, like, what does your track record look like? Have you had to do capital calls? If so, why? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but most of the time
Hmm.
there's like a negative connotation. Have you stopped draws? Like, these are the things we want to educate our investors on up front, so that when things potentially don't go as well as planned at a given time, there is no major surprise, because it's bound to happen sooner or later. No deal is that I've done has been perfect. And I think when you communicate really well, and you set those standards, people feel comfortable, and they invest in what they know. So it's our responsibilities to teach them about these offerings. And I found that you don't want to go too deep in the woods with some of them. Once you start getting into the weeds of numbers and this or that, I think people get lost. So it's almost like less is
Hmm.
more.
Yeah.
Some people are
Yeah.
real, like, once you get people who have invested in multiple deals, they get down to the nitty gritty. But I'm all about under promise and over deliver. It's easy to put together a tear sheet with incredible returns on it. It's another thing to deliver that. So
Yep.
just being
Yep.
continue to be optimistic, but also cautious and conservative, and going into projects really well funded. I think money does solve most problems in multifamily, that at least that I've encountered at my properties. Not to say everything, but yeah, it does make a difference.
Yep. Yeah, being well capitalized, because you never know what's going to happen. So um y- you know I there's a lot of things I really like about multifamily. A few things not so much. I'd say K1s, kind of wrapping those up, and so that's not the biggest joy of my life. But yeah, on for you, is there parts of multifamily you really like, and then maybe if there's something you don't really care for, but yeah, kind of curious where your head goes there.
I'm sure, just like you, I love multifamily as, an investment vehicle to take money off of Wall Street and put into a tangible asset that, for our passive investors, they truly, it's passive, although they do own, a piece of the entity that owns the property. So I think that's really neat. It's also about being diversified. So outside of multifamily, there are other assets to invest in. I'm sure you are, or I know for sure you are. We're in the multifamily space, but it's what the ultra wealthy and elite are investing in. And these, like we said earlier, these opportunities are accessible to friends, family members, people within our influence. And I feel a responsibility to share these opportunities. So I really do love that part. And like I said earlier, I love creating change and transformation at communities and
Mm.
changing people's lives. When you change where they live, you
Yeah.
usually change, their state of being. And
Mm.
I feel a responsibility for each and every one of my residents at my property, to do good by them. So I think you put your investors first and your residents first, and you make decisions, based upon those two groups. You'll do well.
Awesome.
Did you want me to go
And
through things I dislike?
oh, that's
No.
optional. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, no worries either way. But
Dislike
it
K-ones as
I
well and dislike.
yeah,
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 nobody likes, I like depreciation, but nobody wants to this dealing
right.
with the CPA is never fun, and sending out year-end
Yeah,
documents,
right.
you know,
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah, or yeah, reading through, yeah, loan docs and all that. So, um
Mhm,
well, and so I was in a few mentoring programs. It's kind of how I got started. And I think a lot of that had was probably because just when I started, there wasn't really a whole lot of information out there. There wasn't, there weren't like
mhm,
50 podcasts and there weren't all these
mhm.
YouTube channels and all that like there are now. But did you start in a mentoring program or what, if you could kind of walk through what that, what, how that process of you kind of getting involved in multifamily, curious what that looks like.
So, in 2018, I was living in New York City. I had a very successful residential design firm, and I thought when I had a certain amount of money in my bank account, all of my problems were going to go away. And it was
Mm,
quite literally the opposite. I was stressed, I was unhappy, and I was mentally, physically, I was unwell. And I thought, at that given point, there has to be another way to be doing this thing called life. And I knew I wanted to get into real estate. I wasn't really sure how. At that point, Bigger Pockets was, really big. Like you said, there weren't a ton of podcasts. I
mhm,
I really listened to like Michael Blanc. I was reading, all of the books, and it kind of got to a point where, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to go all in and learn from somebody who has the experience. So I joined a mentorship program in 2019. The first year, I didn't do any deals. I thought, being a solo entrepreneur, this is, something I'll continue to do alone. And I also quickly learned that this is multifamily is really a team sport. And one of the other things that I love about it is just the collaboration and I think go giver mindset that most people in multifamily have. I mean, Dustin, you're a prime example of somebody who's always sharing opportunities and information, and I just have encountered so many people and try to do the same. And, over the course of the years, got to work with other mentors, capital raising coaches. So I truly can attribute success to coaching, number one, partnerships, number two, and just, good old hard work and patience and persistence. And there's no get rich quick about this. This is long term, and you pivot. My values have changed, my why has changed. What originally started out as building wealth for myself turned into wanting to help others build wealth, more specifically women.
mm,
And of course, bringing in the design component, being really passionate about remodeling and repositioning communities through strategic design and helping other owners and operators. So the two have just gone hand in hand, and the last 4 years of my life have been so magical to create, just all these beautiful things for different people in their lives, whether it's freedom from money, time, at a community level for the way that the residents how they live. So it just feels really good.
awesome. No, that's great. Love that. I don't know if you're much of a reader or not or a podcast person, but if there's any favorite books or audio, I'm more of an audiobook guy. But if there's any books or audiobooks or podcasts that you'd recommend, and then I'm especially if there's any that you've read or listened to more than once, then very interested in that.
Oh yeah, I love to read. I love podcasts. A lot of the stuff that I listen to or read is more mindset because I think
Mm.
everything in life, it really comes from the mindset. So
Yep.
I love. I mean, I love real estate books and podcasts as well. So on the real estate side, I've been listening to a lot of Ken McElroy recently. He's got a great podcast. He's been in the business for a long time. Um, he just tells it like it is, which I can appreciate. I really love Ed Milet. He's not necessarily a real estate, entrepreneur, but just brings on incredible guests of people, and again, really have emphasis on mental and emotional well-being and how to business tactics, a couple books, Who Not How, finding the right people to put in your organization, and thinking not how you're going to do it, who's going to do it, and it's all about building a team. Contribute all I attribute all of my success to the people in my on my team. I also love, one of my favorites is the E Myth, and that's all about working on your business, not in your business. And yeah, I mean, I could go on for a while. I'm really into a more like very spiritual phase of my life that involves, I've always been really passionate about healthy lifestyle when it comes to, eating and
Mhm.
exercising. But again, back to more of like the mindset and, meditation and breath work and just being still. I think as entrepreneurs, we're
Mm.
constantly on the go, and it's important to stop and acknowledge, where you've been and what you've done. And, uh, the destination, I guess, is really the journey, right? I don't know about you,
Mhm.
but you think you're gonna, you get the first deal, the second deal, the third deal, and it doesn't feel as sweet each time. But it's really when you
Right.
look back at the process and what you had to go through to get to it, you're like, wow, that's where I really grew. And then you get there and you're like, all right, I'm ready for the next one. And
Yeah.
it's just funny how we operate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I was I kind of started this, and probably like a lot of other people, I started this, and it sound maybe you did too, but I started this whole journey to get away from my job, honestly.
Yeah.
And so kind of once I got there, I was like, okay, cool, and then and then I kind of readjusted and pivoted a little bit.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it was, and I was so fixated on that endpoint,
Mhm.
for a while I didn't necessarily, like you were talking about, like, wait a minute, I did pretty well back there, like, I didn't,
Yeah.
didn't take the time to smell the roses, so to speak. So but yeah, it's yeah, everything was, I was to that point, and then I was like, oh, okay, cool. What do I do? And so, but yeah, now kind of change course, and kind of building, like you mentioned, for kind of different reasons now. So, um, anyways, I we're kind of towards the beginning of the year. People, if some people already stopped going to the gym, and so would love to hear, kind of what either 2024 looks like for you, or if you look a little further out, in the next few years, 5 years, what that looks like. So however you want to take the question would be great.
I definitely am really focused on building my tribe of women,
Hmm.
and continuing to educate. And that's just not my local group here in Park City, but getting on national stages. So I've got some speaking engagements that I'm really excited about, and just continuing to bring education, and empowerment to the space, particularly for women, which is, we're growing, which is amazing. So that's really exciting. Uh, just just doing deals with good people. It's all about the people, and if you're not having fun along the way, then what's the point? So while
Hmm.
I've typically been purchasing 100+ unit communities, I'm also looking for smaller, joint venture opportunities that are going to be longer term holds. Some friends, family members, less, kind of moving out of the syndication space a bit. Um, I don't know that I have a exact like roadmap, but I've definitely pivoted in the last year, and I'm excited about that to see what's to be told in the next couple of years.
Good, good. That's awesome. You probably the your tribe and just other LPs and things like that have probably, you probably we get quite a bit. Hey, how do I become, there? I don't know. Feel like GP kind of put up on a
Mhm.
pedestal a little bit, but but we get asked a lot, like, hey, how do I become a GP? What do I do? And so
Mhm.
curious if 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 you've had people ask how to be a GP and where to go, and so just curious if you have any advice for those folks.
I would say that if you're interested in getting into the space, partner with somebody. Don't try to do it on your own. So, like you said,
Mhm.
come, bring something of value that they're looking for. And that's usually either a deal or money.
Yep. Yep.
Those are, I think, the two easiest ways to get into a deal. Everybody's looking for a new opportunity and everybody's always looking for capital to bring to their deal. So if you can bring that or any other resources, time, whatever it may be, just be of value and just be willing to take a back seat and take a very small to maybe no portion of the actual equity in the deal just to learn. I think that's worth its weight in gold in itself. And uh, just take action. It's one thing to read the books and listen to the podcast. It's another thing to to put yourself out there.
Yeah, and that first bit of action is a lot of times the hardest, or at least it was. I was pretty nervous about it. So, but well, yeah, really appreciate your time. Chelsea is, feel free to, if how do people connect with you? If there's, feel free to, if they're busy female entrepreneur or a busy professional, how do they get a hold of you? And just any websites or emails you want to give out would be awesome.
Yeah, actually, probably the easiest way to find me is, I think everybody's on LinkedIn, Chelsea Garber. If you want to check out ROI by Design, the multifamily remodeling company, which has incredible projects that we've featured, probably similar to yours, as www.roi-by design.com. You can also reach me via email, Chelsea, Chelsea at roi-bydesign.com. Or similarly, through my investment firm, Ascend Equity, you can just go to ascend2equity.com, TO, not the number two. But yeah, LinkedIn, look me up there, send me a message, let me know what you're interested in, and I can direct you accordingly. We're always happy to set up a time and share my Calendly link.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate your time, and great to see you as always. And yeah, look forward to hopefully seeing you at a conference or something in the near future. So appreciate everything, Chelsea, and have a great day. Thank you. See ya. Bye.
Thanks. Likewise.